Good afternoon. This is John Marsano with Probate Matters. Today we're going to take the mystery out of what exactly is an inheritance advance. So I've been in this industry, the inheritance advance industry, for about 6 years. And what I can tell you is that there are typically about 5 common questions that come up through the process almost every single time. And so today I thought it would be great just to go ahead and break down those top 5 questions and give you the answers to them so that you can get a really good insight of whether or not a probate or probate advance or an inheritance advance is for you. So let's start off with this question. One of the most common questions that comes up is, will this, if I do an advance, will this affect anybody else in the estate? So the answer is no, it doesn't affect any other heir in the estate. When we do an inheritance advance, we evaluate what you're getting, your share, and it's only based on that. So when you go ahead and you get a probate advance or an inheritance advance, it only affects you and nobody else. It doesn't impact anybody else's share that they're getting. It doesn't extend the timeout for the probate process. Quite simply, it's just all based on what you're getting, your particular share, in your situation. So it doesn't affect anybody else inside the estate. So another question I get is, well, what's the interest rate on this? And, what's my monthly payment going to be? Well, there is no monthly payment and there is no interest rate because it's not a loan. It's an advance. So, these inheritance advances or probate, advances, they are calculated based on a flat fee on how long it takes you to repay it. So it's a flat fee based on time. And so the quicker that it's paid, the less the fee, the longer that it takes to get paid back in full, the higher the fee. And so our company, the way we do it, and there's some flexibility around this, but traditionally what we do is, if you pay it back within 6 months, it's one fee. If you pay it back after 6 months, it's another fee. But after the 6 months, it's capped. So, it's a really great advantage because, God forbid the estate takes 2 years. Well, the benefit that you have if it takes 2 years is that you're not accruing or you're not, there's no greater fee because you've gone past, 2 or 3 years. Like, we wait so you don't have to, and your flat fee is all completely shown and outlined inside your documents. So after that sort of 6-month or 9-month or 12-month window where, we have the fees that are structured and set in place, once it goes past that, that's it. It's capped and, you get all the benefit. So one of the questions that actually comes up is around the rebate language. And customers ask, well, what is a rebate and how does it work? The reason why we have that clause in place is because none of us know, at our company or you, how long it's actually going to take in order for the case to wrap up and get to final distribution. And so, like we discussed before earlier, that our fees are based on time. So the shorter the time frame for you to pay us back, the less the fees. The longer it takes for you to pay us back and get to final distribution, the higher the fees. So the way the rebate is structured is that we always assume that it's going to be the maximum amount of time. And because of that, the assignment is written at the full assignment level, meaning the maximum fee. Now, that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. And in many cases, it doesn't. In many cases, I see people paying us back in 4 months and 5 months and actually under that first window, right? The first fee change. Well, when that happens, when you pay off, what is actually due when you pay off, if it's less than the full assigned amount, then you would get a rebate for the difference between the two. And that's how rebates work. Now, if your case does wind up going, longer or winds up exceeding the time frame that's outlined in the contract, then there would be no rebate and we would just collect the full amount due. So the rebate in the end really is there to be the most efficient way to, one, protect you as the heir and making sure that if you paid off early, you get a refund, and protect obviously us as the organization because nobody knows how long it's actually going to take to go ahead and get repaid. So it really does work for you as the heir and us as the company, and it is the most efficient way to solve for that time issue. What is the difference between an inheritance advance and a traditional bank loan? And so I love that question because there are major differences between the two. And so I wanted to just take a minute and, kind of compare and contrast what the differences are, and then also, just starting off with the qualification. So let's start with a bank. So if you go to a bank and you're looking for a traditional loan, they're going to do a couple of things. Right off the bat, they're going to pull your credit, and they're going to want to see that you have a solid credit score and a solid credit history. Let's face it, they don't want to go ahead and give a loan to somebody that hasn't shown the ability to repay their debts. On top of that, they're also going to look at your job history. They want to make sure that you have a job and that you have been gainfully employed, most likely for the last 24 months or 2 years. That's important to them because, people who have jobs pay them back. People who don't have jobs don't pay them back. So in addition to that, they'll also look at, the rest of your financial picture. Do you own a home? Do you have other assets? Can you pledge any other assets? Or is it just going to be a personal loan with no assets pledged? And all of those things play into their final loan decision, which traditionally takes about anywhere from 20 to 40 days. So, you'll go meet with the branch manager. They'll go through all the things that I just told you. And then hopefully 20 to 40 days later, they'll come up with the answer here. We can either do the loan or we can't. So that's a lot of hurdles to jump over if you want to get a traditional bank loan. So on the inheritance advance side, it's a much more simple process. To qualify you, the first thing we look at is, are you a legal heir? And if you're a legal heir and it's not being disputed, and the case is currently going through probate, it's a live case, and it's being handled by an attorney, as long as all those things are in place, then you qualify. And the best part is it doesn't take 20 to 40 days to get you funded. In most cases, we're funding folks in about 1 to 2 days. I've seen cases where we actually have funded the same day. So, we obviously make things much more simple than a traditional loan. We're not asking for credit. You're not making a monthly payment. We're not looking at your job history. None of that comes into play. We're not looking at your credit score. The only caveat that we have is that if you're currently in bankruptcy, or if you filed bankruptcy in the last 18 months, then we wouldn't be able to fund you. But outside of that one caveat, again, if you are a legal heir, you're getting $35,000 or more, there is an attorney working on the case with an executor, or if you're the executor working with an attorney, all of those things, get you qualified. So much more simple to qualify for an advance than it is for a traditional bank loan. And quite frankly, we fund in 1 to 2 days, not 20 to 40. So one of the top questions that we get, maybe the number one question, is how quickly can you fund me? And so we start right off the bat very quickly getting things done so that we can fund you. And most customers we're able to fund in about a day or two. So we start off by collecting the information from you regarding the estate, some of the facts, you as the heir. And then once I have that, we turn it over to underwriting. Underwriting gets right to work. They pull the case file, they reach out to the attorney, They confirm all the facts in the estate and exactly what you are getting or estimating getting. And once we complete that process, we're ready to fund you via wire into your account or check overnight, whatever's best for you. I've seen us fund people in as little as 8 hours. So, but typically what I see is we fund most customers in about a day or two. Well, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope it deepened your knowledge on exactly what, an advance, a probate advance or an inheritance advance is. I hope it gave you insight to, some of the mechanics and some of the, typical or common questions that we get every single day. But if you want to explore anything further, or if you're looking to get an advance on your inheritance, please give me a call. You can reach out via our website or you can leave a comment. We're happy to talk to you about your situation and how we can help you get an advance today. Again, my name is John Marceno with Advance My Inheritance, and this channel is Probate Matters. We hope to see you again.